This module covers Windows logging. As Windows has lots of mechanisms related to logging, it is reasonable to know them. Obviously, the most basic one, even if it's advanced inside, but the basic in terms of the place when we are trying to look when it comes to log analysis, is a whole subsystem of Windows event logging. Event viewer can show us a bunch of logs. We can find here a couple of hundreds of logs, starting from most common one, security, system and application. We can go into details for logs for different things within the Windows operating system. Please be aware that some logs, especially like analytic logs, maybe not even enabled. You can see clearly it is disabled here. You can enable it in the right pane, but well, if it's not enabled, you have no data to be analyzed. I'm not telling you you should enable every single log, because in most cases it will provide too much data. Windows Event Log subsystem is capable of registering thousands of entries per second. This is not a big deal to collect more than we have collected by default. But please be aware that someone has to analyze it later, and if you have no analysis possibilities, collecting stuff just in case, maybe not actually reasonable. For every single log, we have some properties. I will go for system log. Under properties, I can find the location. Logs are here under system32 WinEVT logs in their vast majority. The format is EVTX. It is a common format for Windows logs introduced in Windows 2008 Windows Vista. Previously it was EVT. For every single log we have an information about its actual maximum size. No information about actual size here. And the default behavior, what happens when the maximum size is reached. By default, oldest events are overwritten without asking, without making you know about it. When it comes to the size of the log, the current size, you can see it from this perspective. I have written some time ago a tool allowing you to analyze the oldest event in the log. Is a very simple PowerShell script. I will run it on my live machine because here I have a pretty long history of the Windows operating system. So I'm going log after another one, trying to figure out what is happening inside, and the result is like this one. So all those logs I have collected, I have information about number of events being stored within the log, and the time span. What is the oldest event and where is the freshest event within the log, together with some other data. If I sort by oldest, I can clearly see, well, I have some quite old logs, which is not a big surprise. This one is coming from the Windows image preparation. Those are coming from the real operation of Windows. Windows was installed on March 24. 21. But if I go to the very end of the list, you can see the oldest entries. The newest entry is 17.8 and the oldest entry is 16.20, which means that this particular logs contains only a couple of hours of the data and then is being overwritten. You have to answer for your own if it's okay for you. If not, then you can increase the size of the log to collect the audit trail in an appropriate length, because having entries overwritten, well, it will minimize your capabilities of analyzing those. For example, for the security log, it may be a case, because with the configuration you can significantly change the amount of the data coming into this log. So overwriting it is relatively easy, and you will have like a couple of minutes of the history within the log, which is not that useful unless you are sending this data somewhere else. Please be aware that the Windows operating system itself collects data in other forms as well. When it comes to the EVTX, please be aware that if you take a file, if we can go to this location where logs are stored, it is configured in the registry, but I had the chance to show you where it is. It is in EVT in system32, then we have logs, and we have 360 files here containing some logs. Please be aware that the file itself contains a very minimal piece of the information. For example, here you can see a nicely formatted log that the credential manager credentials were read, the information about subject, some comment, etc., etc. Within the log itself, most likely you will see this, only the content of the field without any explanation, without naming it. This part is stored externally if you compare it to the EVTX file. So if you take the EVTX file, you have to know how to interpret those fields, because you will see no nice description of them. So please be aware it must be exported in a proper way or reached in a proper way, and such information must be present on the machine when you are, on which you are performing an analysis. If you save the log, you have a question, test, whatever, you can have a question if you want to have this information saved or not. If yes, then it will be merged together and saved. If not, you will see like a bare EVTX file with data only, without any clue how to interpret this data. It is important when you are trying to move your logs somewhere. Next to typical Windows logs, we have a bunch of logs even being stored by the Windows operating system itself. We have a logs folder when we have a couple of things like CBS related to the installation of different things within the Windows operating system. Sometimes it's quite detailed, 70 megs of logs. It is a lot of text to be read and analyzed. And we have a couple of others. It should be 77 files is kind of normal amount here for a fresh Windows operating system. It is, as you can see, it is a couple of megs of the data to be read and analyzed. And we have also some information in the debug folder. It can be more here definitely. Yet another place where Windows stores its text files. Again, something to be analyzed in practice. On top of it, we can have some Windows components storing its own logs, with a notable example of IIS, Internet Information Server, the web server, which is storing data in text files, yet different place. And of course, we have third-party applications, and you have to ask their authors where and how they are storing logs. The more logs we can collect during the forensic analysis, the more data we have. Typically, we order them in a kind of a timeline. I will spend some time in another module trying to tell you how to analyze those logs. If you know where to find them and how Windows is logging and applications are logging their own stuff, the better for you and for reliability of your analysis. Here I would like to mention one file more, kind of a very special type of a log. I mean bootstat.dat. Bootstat.dat is a file responsible for logging boot process. It is also a part of the Windows, but not that obvious, I would say. So it is fully binary. It is not really well documented. I have written a script analyzing it. It is digging through binary properties. It is on my GitHub. It focuses on boot times. If I copy it, if I paste it over here within the PowerShell ease, which I launch as admin, I will paste my log here. You can also take information about booting times. It may be somehow useful if you want to know how computer worked. If you run this analysis, the analysis is done, and you can see this particular Windows virtual machine was booted 6 times. I'm working heavily with snapshots, so it's why only 6. I simply turn it off and revert the snapshot. But anyway, you have all official boot times, which may add a valuable piece of the information for your forensic analysis as well.